Okay, so I have the general idea of where I want each of these fun little colored llamas and cacti, and now I'm going to start just using the Cricut Easy Press over here to sublimate them. So I'm just going to kind of start, I think, in the middle and work my way out, and I might make some changes as I go. So I think I'm going to start with this little guy here, and what I'm going to do is try to kind of use my light to see through, and I can actually see through this because I have a really good light, so I can see through and line everything up. I'm not only looking through, but I'm also kind of lifting and seeing, and I'm noticing that these aren't going to line up exactly, probably just the way that this was printed and everything, and I'm not going to worry about that because it was never my intention for this to be perfect. All I did was I took some of this fabric and I copied it on my old copy machine, right? And then, because you have to, of course, do everything in reverse when you do the sublimation, I colored on the opposite side there. So now I have this, it's just, you know, printer paper, and it is colored on the wrong side. The copy of the image from the fabric is on one side, and I colored on the other side. And now I have my heat tape, and I'm going to do my best to see the part of this that I've actually colored is the little blanket and the ears and the nose. So I'm going to do my best to kind of line up those sections, all right? And I'm not going to worry too much about it not being perfect, because that was my whole thought with this. I like that kind of, it's not perfect, it's a little not quite lined up idea of what it would look like. So now I'm just taping it down with my heat tape, and I'm making sure I'm not placing that tape over anything that I want to transfer, because of course, being the heat safe tape, it will not, nothing that is underneath it will transfer because the heat will be protected from it. So I'm moving some of these pieces from around it out of the way so I don't accidentally transfer them in the wrong place. And I'm putting my heat tape, my heat paper on top of that. And I'm actually going to get a really large, I'm actually going to use a large piece of this heat paper. I think I'm going to leave it just attached to the roll here, okay? Because it's going to also help protect the fabric around here from getting burned by the high heat of the Easy Press. I have the Easy Press set to 400 degrees and for 45 seconds. I'm not entirely sure what is and is not going to work on this. Actually, I think I'm going to go ahead and bump it up to a minute, 400 degrees and 1 minute, just based on something I tried with a similar fabric. Okay, and sometimes you have to, if you're not using a base that, you know, has been provided by Artesprix, and so you know what the temperature and the time is, you have to kind of compare it to things they have and give it your best estimate. So I'm estimating 400 degrees at 60 seconds, and we're just going to find out, okay? So here we go. Put it down, press the little Cricut symbol to get it going, and just watch it count down. So I'm just using gentle pressure, and I know that the Easy Press is upside down to you. That's just because the cord where I can plug this cord in is behind me, and it's just safer to have the cord coming out of this end than that end. All right, we've counted down, so I'm not going to move the Easy Press over. All right, so that's just a safety measure. So sorry it's upside down, but I'm trying not to burn myself. So now we're going to take a look and see. I'm just kind of lifting. Oh my gosh, it's perfect, guys. All right, so this could be very hot, but look. All right, the nose is really far off, but look at that design. Isn't that fun? That is so cool. I love it. All right, yeah, I totally missed on the nose. But that, again, as I said, it's really got a lot to do with the fabric isn't I think, you know, if since I didn't copy this exact llama, I maybe copied one from over there. I probably copied one closer to the side. Maybe the fabric was stretched more when it was printed, or I copied it and then I washed the fabric. So the fabric, it feels a lot looser, so it probably relaxed. So if you're going to do this, pre-wash the fabric first before you copy it, because I think what happened was this fabric must have had a lot of some sort of a stiffener in it. It was a lot stiffer before I washed it. Once I washed it, it became a lot smoother and softer, and I think it relaxed, and therefore maybe everything kind of grew a little bit. But I'm not complaining. Like I said, I liked the idea of things being a little bit kind of off. So now the really cool thing is I can reuse the tape that doesn't have, I'm actually not going to reuse this tape, because what I'm noticing is the heat is actually picking up the images from the fabric itself as well. So I'm not going to reuse this tape, even though it's reusable. It's got some images on it, and you can see I also kind of picked up a little bit, I don't know if you can see right there, some of the design is there, so I want to be careful not to accidentally transfer that. I need to be very careful, but I most definitely need an entire sheet of this to protect my Easy Press. I think what I'm going to do though is I think I'm going to cut a piece of this about the size of the Easy Press, and I'll put one piece of paper on top of the image and then this on top of that. So this will protect the Easy Press, and the other piece of paper will be the one that ends up getting kind of covered like this one did. So I'm gonna cut out that little section so I don't accidentally reuse it. And let's see what we want to do next. Maybe I'll do this guy right here, because he was actually planned. So I'll do him, cut some tape. I don't think this is going to move a lot, so I think I'm just going to cut like 2 pieces of tape for each of these. Okay, so let's try to line him up, and this one I colored like the feet and everything. I colored all the fun little feet and legs and his little face, so I want to try to line him up a little bit more carefully, and I feel like I did a better job of lining him up. So I'm going to tape him down over here, and I'm going to tape him down over here, okay? And then I'm going to put this little piece of the heat paper on top of him, and then the bigger piece on top of that, just to also protect the Cricut from the fabric, because this fabric seems to be letting off some of that black ink when it is ironed at such a high heat. So we're going to do that. And now we're ready to use the Cricut again. Do not iron your fingers, or any other part of your body for that matter. Okay, and go. Okay, moving the Cricut over, back onto its little stand. Safety first, always safety first, okay? Be very careful with these. And I don't know if you can see, but I can see that some of the color came through this piece. It did not come all the way through to this piece though, so I can reuse this, but this one now I don't want to reuse because some of the ink came through. And I'm gonna guess that some of the ink came through. Yes, see some of the ink from the paper itself. Look at that! Oh my goodness, so fun. Some of the ink from the fabric itself came through onto this piece of tape, so I'm not going to reuse that one. But this one is okay. So let's see, that is really fun. And like I said, I kind of liked the idea of it being not perfectly lined up. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen that sort of fabrics and stuff in the store where they're not perfectly lined up. It's a fun little thing. So here we have this. You can, of course, if you copy each one individually and mark like, okay, this is this one and this is that one, and you do it after you've pre-washed the fabric, you can probably get something a lot closer to perfection. But I was going for imperfection here. All right, I was going for kind of the not lined up off prints randomness of this, and I am absolutely loving it. So I'm gonna keep on going with my pre-colored pieces and everything and just see what it grows into and use it for the little project that I have in mind.